Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually create another sheet, but before I do that, let me actually save this document, this spreadsheet actually. So I'm going to go on File and Save. Ideally, you actually do this in the beginning, okay, of the before you actually start inputting the data, so that you do not risk losing any data or any work which you might have done. um, Ideally, when you save, it is important that you also, see where you're saving. So I like to go on Browse, and then I select the respective folder where I want to save my spreadsheet, okay, or file I'm working on. So I'm going to actually select Documents, and I can actually call this football Excel sheet, spreadsheet. Okay, and I'm going to click on save. So now you can notice that the title here is changed, okay, according to the name that I have inputted to name the file. And now all I have to do is every time I do something to modify the document, okay, in order to save those changes, I just can go, okay, I can just go here and click on the save icon, and it will be updated accordingly. So now I'm going to actually create another sheet. As you can see on the bottom here, I have been working on sheet one. If I click on this plus sign, it will actually create another sheet for me. So always be careful that even when someone, for instance, sends you a spreadsheet or an Excel file, be sure to check if it has more than one sheet, because you might be missing some information, and then you realize later that it wasn't the file, it was just in a different sheet. To further organize my spreadsheet, I'm actually going to rename this sheet. So I'm going to right click here, and I'm going to hit rename, and I'm going to name this sheet performance and hit enter. Okay, so this what I'm doing in this way is, the spreadsheet file relates to, the different things about my football career last year. And what I want to do is I want to input different information, but I want to organize it accordingly. So I want to, check out how I've been doing performance wise. I can click on this. Now, in this case, I also want to insert some finance related stuff. Okay. So I'm going to rename this to finances. Okay, so this is going to be related to the money I made playing football. And the great things about Cheat is that you can actually organize. You don't have to see everything at once. You just, depending on what you want to actually check out, you can click on the respective sheet. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing now is, again, it is always wise to data that you are inserting, you want to know what is it about. So ideally, it is good to label the data. So in on the top column, I'm going to put month, and right next to it, in the column next to it, I'm going to type goals. Okay, and to further differentiate this from the rest of the data, okay, I'm actually going to edit these two. So I can change the color of the font from here, where there's this capital A with color underneath. If I just click on it, it will go along with the default color, which is red. But if I want to change that, okay, say I want to make it blue, for example, okay, I can select it from this drop down arrow. I can also change the color of the area of the cell. Okay, so if I click on the fill color, okay, over here it will change that. I can do the same with the goals column. Okay, so I'm going to make that to red. Okay, and I can also change the fill color from the drop down arrow and make it let's say orange. Okay, let's find a bit of a lighter color. Okay, so now I have created a column for the month and a column for the goals. And another great feature of Excel is, so let's say I starting to input the months. Okay, so January, I can actually, instead of having to type all the months, okay, what I can do is I can click on the first month, okay, of with the respective order. And on the bottom right of the cell, you can see this square. And when I put the cursor on it, the mouse changes, the mouse cursor changes. So when it changes, I can actually click on it and drag down. And as you can see, Excel is intelligent enough to actually keep the order of the months going. Okay, so and this works for different things. Okay, but in this case, I'm using it for the months. Okay, now you can also notice that the certain words, okay, are not being organized very neatly in the cell. So what I can do is I want to widen this uh, cell, okay, these cells actually, in such a way that the words can fit neatly in them. So you can notice the cursor changes when I put it between the column lines. So I'm going to double click and it will arrange so that the months are arranged neatly. Okay, I can actually also change these to bold so that they are more, you know, distinct. Okay, the bold function, just similarly to when you use it in Word. Okay, and now I will start inserting, the different values depending on the goals I scored. So, you can do this randomly, but of course, the number of goals here has to match. Okay, if we're actually representing this accurately, has to add up to 70. So I scored 7 in January. Okay, let's say 6 February, 5 March. So these are the number of goals that I scored in matches in the respective month. Okay, 6 in May, 8 in June. You can fill this accordingly. 5 for October, 6 for November, and in December we have 5 goals. Okay, now you can actually check out the total number of goals. Okay, so over here I can actually create another cell and label it total goals. Okay, to make it distinct, I can make it bold, and next to it, okay, I can find the sum of all of these. Now, there are different formulas which you can remember for Microsoft Excel. Now, some of them, the more you practice, you learn them by heart. For instance, like this one, the sum. Okay, so to find the total, again, always remember the formulas start with equals. I can type sum, all right, open brackets, and instead of having to type the numbers, I can just, drag the cursor here and hit enter. And as you can see, I have the number worked out automatically according to the formula. And again, the great thing about Excel is if I actually change a value, so notice I'm going to change this, for example, to 3, the total will be adjusted accordingly. Okay, but that's just for the demonstration. I will leave that to 5. Okay, so that the total goals here is, congruent with what I've represented in the other sheet, because as we've discussed, okay, this is still, um, you know, about my football career last year. Okay, so even though I am putting it in different sheets, it has to make sense. Okay. Of course, if you're practicing for yourself, you can actually throw random values. But if you're doing an actual representation, okay, of data, you have to be, sure that it makes sense. Now, another thing which I can do, okay, so let's make this interesting. So let's say that I've also had a goal bonus, okay. So here I'm actually going to type goal bonus, okay. I will actually increase the width of the cell like so, okay. Notice also I am not merging the cells, okay. I am just increasing the width of this one. I can again to differentiate, the labels between the rest of the data. I can change that to green, okay, and let's make it dark green actually, and let's make the fill color to light green. Okay, so something like that.